win this thing, you've got to decide how you're going to walk out of here when it's all said and done. Because the game is going to go on. And there's only one rule you're going to need to know about. There are no second chances. There's only this moment and the next moment. Every one of those moments is a test that you get to take one time, and only one time. So if you see an opening, tear into it. If you get a shot at victory, make damn sure you take it. Seize that moment. That moment is a crossroads where everything you want will collide with everything standing in your way. You've got momentum at your back. Fear and doubt are thundering like a freight train straight at you. And all you got, the only difference between making history and being history, the only thing you can count on in any given moment is you. It's you versus them. You versus no. You versus can't. You versus next year, last year, statistics, excuses. It's you versus history. You versus the odds. It's you versus second place. Clock is ticking. Let's see what you got.
From the F3Knoxville podcast studio, which is Blindside's back porch.
Oh, I could barely lift my right arm because I did so many. I don't know if you heard me counting, I did over 1,000.
This is Beyond the COT, a weekly podcast connecting the packs of F3 Knoxville and beyond through invigorating male community leadership, through fitness, fellowship, and faith.
Avengers! Assemble.
38 school zone.
School zone. 34 strip.
40 kickflip. 56 high heels.
High heels, respect.
37 trunk.
The F3 Knoxville Beyond the COT podcast starts right now. Hello and welcome to Beyond the COT, F3 Knoxville's weekly podcast, telling you the ins and outs of F3 Knoxville and beyond. I hope you all enjoyed that speech there at the beginning. I want to kind of mix it up every once in a while. Judge Judy sent me that from a radio show that he used to listen to in Birmingham. It took me forever to try to figure out where exactly it was from. It turns out it's from a commercial for the old Versus channel, which I think is now NBC Sports. So for something as simple as a commercial for a sports network, it seems pretty inspirational. And over the past week or so, since he sent me that, I've kind of been breaking that down, listening to it, really trying to pick out some of the important pieces from it, because it is very, very inspirational. I don't know about you, but I kind of wanted to run through a brick wall there with that after hearing that speech for the first time. So, I hope you're continuing to enjoy Beyond the COT. That intro that came about after the little spring break that we took, it is not permanent, just so you know. It did take me a while to come up with it, but it is something that I'm planning on revamping every once in a while as I get better with the editing and the downloading drop files and all that stuff. So it's going to stick around for a little while longer, but it is not going to be a permanent fixture of Beyond the COT. So some of the things we're going to talk about today, we've obviously got talking a little bit more Shamrock over the month for April. We've got picking up the 6 coming later with the 6 items from the F3 lexicon and exicon. We've got MumbleChatter making its debut on Beyond the Cot, and actually will stay with Beyond the Cot, as you'll hear later coming on up. One thing that I do want to talk about right now is just a kind of a call for a co-host. So part of the reason why Picking Up the Six and MumbleChatter are part of this podcast today and moving forward is because, this was a huge undertaking, and I knew it. And you'll hear later, I've already recorded what I'm going to say later about MumbleChatter moving to the end of this podcast. But I would love anybody that's ready and willing to help and help me with this podcast. And really, it just turns into accountability. And really, there's very little work that has to be done. All that really needs to be done is someone that can commit 30 minutes, 45 minutes a week of hopping on a Zoom call and helping me out. I will do all the rest, but having someone there waiting on me or someone there wanting to help out, that's really going to help me. So it can be anybody out there in radio land listening to me now. Just would love to see someone else helping out, just so I can have a little bit of accountability, and that we can make sure that this same great content comes out every week. So with that, I will get into Shamrock's AO of the month. So I'm hoping to get out to Shamrock one day this week, and hopefully for a Tuesday, Thursday off the books run. Still need to do that. Still haven't done it. I'm going to let this be motivation to get me out there. So Mermaid, if you hear this and it's Wednesday night and I wasn't there Thursday, definitely keep me honest here about getting out there for one of those OTB runs. So I've queued Shamrock now 2 times in the past 2 weeks. We did our new and improved F3 the first time, and then last week on Monday I did a EMOM workout, every minute on the minute workout. We had about 12 guys there. We moseyed on up to the construction side where they're building the new auditorium there at Knoxville Catholic High School, and we started out fairly simple, and I think I lulled some of those guys to sleep. It was 4/4/22. That was the date last Monday, and so we did, starting out, every minute we needed to do 4 Merkins, 4 big boys, 2 squats, and 2 burpees, and it averaged about 30 seconds or so to get through those. Of course, I had Wax Job over there across from the circle of me, continuing to do squats and burpees for the second 30 seconds. So, making me feel bad, but they didn't know what was coming. So we did that for the first 5 minutes. And then we did a sprint down to the end of the parking lot. I don't know necessarily how far that was, but we did it. And came back, I would guess probably maybe almost a half mile total. And then we came back and we did the second set for 5 minutes, which was 4 Diamond Merkins, 4 American Hammers, 2 jump squats, and 2 burpees. So again, with the 4/4/22 for the date. And so those were just a little bit harder with the Diamond Merkins and the jump squats, but very similar. Wax Job kept going. And then we then ran down and back, and then halfway and back. So we had a little bit more running there. And when we got back for the next set of 5, I doubled them up. So we had to do 4 Merkins, 4 Diamond Merkins, 4 big boys, 4 American Hammers. We had to do 2 squats, 2 jump squats, and then 4 burpees. Doing all that in a minute was tough. Had a few seconds left over each round, and we did that for 5 rounds with another set of down and back. And then for the final set, what we did was 2 rounds of the first, 2 rounds of the second, and then 1 round of the double. Then moseyed back around, and for the first time in my queuing career, which is coming up on a year now, for the first time ever, we had an exact 7 minutes of Mary afterwards. So it was a great time for MumbleChatter. The whole workout was great. There was a bunch of the Shamrock regulars there. Really love seeing some of those guys again. They have different levels of fitness, different levels of speed and strength, so it was pretty awesome. I used this app actually called Power Hour, which if you're around my age, maybe early 30s, you may not remember Power Hour from college. It is very different, but this app allows you to connect your Spotify playlist, and it picks a random minute from each song in your playlist, and we'll play it with then a buzzer there at the end of a minute. So it's a good way to do an EMOM workout. I think I mentioned it when I did Picking Up the Six, on Picking Up the Six, when we talked about EMOMs, but it's Power Hour. If you want to know the exact name of the app, there's several of them in the App Store and Google Play stores. Just let me know. We can I can send you just to share that with you. So Shamrock's AO of the month. Hoping April's AO of the month, hoping to get Mermaid on here for an interview next week.
Message for you, son.
This week's episode of Beyond the Cot is brought to you by the Q Calendar. The Q Calendar. Fill it up. Do it. Sign up right now. Pause this right now. Sign up for a Q. You know you want to. Do it. Alright guys, here it is. The big ask. It took 6 weeks in the making, but here it goes. When I started taking over this podcast, I had a grand vision, and I had a vision of 3 podcasts a week, and really thought I had a great outline plan. Still think it's a great plan. And just had everybody tell me how crazy I was, and it turns out they were right. I was wrong. And so part of being good at something is adjusting when things come your way. We know last week I've added Picking Up the Six into Beyond the Cot, and so this week what I'm going to do is I'm going to add MumbleChatter to Beyond the Cot, and that leaves us to just one weekly show. And, you know, it's humbling, absolutely humbling for me to have to do this. I want to do so much, and I want to be there providing great content, great announcements, and just knowledge for guys out there in F3 Knoxville and beyond. And I haven't been able to do that. And so rather than skip shows and miss shows and really, you know, feel like I'm letting you down and having that good old Catholic guilt on me when a Friday morning rolls around and a MumbleChatter's not ready to be posted. So I'm going to combine those 3 ideas into one podcast, one weekly podcast. Might make it a little bit longer, or it might just cut down on the rambling on my part so that it doesn't, I don't feel like I need to fill the time. So, MumbleChatter and Picking Up the Six will both be segments on Beyond the Cot, weekly segments. So stay tuned here for some announcements. Curveball wanted to share an event close to him. The 5th annual Volley for Life Get Served Beer Tasting will be held this Friday, April 15th at the Mill and Mine. To quote their website, Volley for Life says that this event is a fantastic night with friends, food, and plenty of beer, plus a silent auction and plenty of entertainment. The purpose of the fundraiser is to provide scholarships to volleyball athletes in Knoxville and surrounding counties who otherwise could not afford to play club volleyball. For any questions, DM Curveball. The link to the tickets are in the show notes for today's episode. There is going to be a flag changeover at the Equalizer this Friday, April 15th. Stripped is ending his run as Equalizer AOQ and passing it on to Ribbed, a true high-impact man. Come for a great workout and cafeteria to follow. We will also be celebrating the Equalizer's 3rd birthday, so please come out and support Stripped and Ribbed as we have a shovel flag changeover at the Equalizer. Rampart, the new AO in Kingston, is continuing their off-the-book workouts. Looks like they have one more off-the-book workout scheduled for Saturday, April 23rd at 7 a.m. with kickflip on cue. I've been following along, and it seems like a lot of good work going on down there. Keep it up with the new FNGs and the Knoxville guys helping out. Looks like the off-the-books workouts at the Speedway in Seymour will begin on Tuesday, 4/19. The Speedway will meet at 05:30 at First Baptist Church in Seymour. That's Tuesday, April 19th. That's the first workout. Reach out to Rep Sleepy for more details on the Speedway. The Project will be hosting a surprise CSOP on Friday, May 6th. At Haw Ridge Park in Oak Ridge. This one's going to be a little different, as it will be from 9 p.m. to midnight. And I believe that it is entitled Escape from Haw Ridge. There's a sign-up link in the show notes here, as well as many channels on Slack. Get your team of 3 or 4 together, or sign up as an individual and be placed on a team night of. Looks like there's stuff for trail runners, for average Joes, and for the ruckers in the group. So get out and support those guys of the Project. This looks like it's going to be real fun. Junk is looking for a couple more hymns to join him at his table for the Emerald Youth Foundation's annual breakfast. This event is free with no obligation to give, but Junk wants more F3 guys around Knoxville to see all the good that Emerald Youth Foundation does in our community. The breakfast is on Friday, May 6th. From 7 to 8:30 a.m. More details to come. DM Junk if interested. I've already given him the hard commit to be there. I've seen firsthand what the Emerald Youth Foundation can do to our community, so please join us at their annual breakfast. On Saturday, July 2nd, JUCO will be hosting F3 Knoxville's Convergence. This will start at 06:30 on Saturday, July 2nd. There's going to be a pre-ruck, an hour-long beatdown, cafeteria, and third F speaker. Put it on your calendars now for that first weekend in July at JUCO. Please do not forget about F3 Knoxville's Whetstone program, where members of the PACs become mentors to one another and sharpening each other just as a whetstone sharpens a blade. There are men throughout Knoxville who can sharpen each other. Everything here is confidential. Reach out to Judge Judy or Mud Puppy on Slack if you're interested in being a mentor or if you're interested in being mentored. And I know that both sides of this relationship definitely learn things from each other. So not only does the whetstone sharpen the blade, but the blade does give back to the whetstone quite a bit. So this is something that I'm experiencing firsthand, and I encourage you all to do the same. So reach out to Judge Judy or Mud Puppy on Slack for the Whetstone program. If you're interested in sharing your story or helping out with the podcast in any way, please let me know. Also, if you've enjoyed Beyond the COT's recent ads and sponsors, I'm always accepting freelance advertisement writers. Also, there are some great ones coming. So if you're interested in helping out with the podcast in any way, please let me know. There is something for you to do, something for anyone to do with this. Any announcements you want added for next week's edition of MumbleChatter, feel free to DM me on Slack or on Twitter at F3_Blindside. Just anything you want mentioned in the show, go ahead and let me know. Now it's time for Picking Up the Six. All right, so starting with picking up the six with the 3 items from the F3 lexicon. One of these, the first one here, is really close to my heart here, and that's the Backblast, also known as the After Action Report. Now, some of you may be very unfamiliar with this term. I kind of joke around sometimes that maybe Backblasts aren't always posted regularly or on time, and then I become a hypocrite because I believe several of mine throughout March did not get completed. So a Backblast is a written account of the beatdown, giving the details of the weather, the disclaimer, the warm-up, workout exercises and rep counts. And then my favorite part of the backblast, which is the word that is shared by the queue during the bomb. These backblasts are posted preferably the same day as the workout for all the packs to read. I know that a lot of Qs and even VQs will get some ideas and share things just through the backblast. So backblasts are really important. Next, from the lexicon is a name for someone during the workout, and that nickname is Fathertime. And during my time at F3Knoxville, I've actually only seen this happen once, but Fathertime is a member of the packs who swears he can read the queue's watch from up to 20 yards away. Fathertime would say something sort of, this 7-minute AMRAP has to be over by now. We probably should head back to the AO just to be safe. So it's a really funny thing that you can call out someone who is really preoccupied with the time. Usually for me, that is going to be Aladdin at an equalizer queue. He is really good about keeping up with the time. And then the third item from the lexicon is bricks without straw. As I was reading through the lexicon this evening, this one really kind of called out to me. And, throughout the F3 and through the lexicon talking about being a brick builder and laying foundations, this one really, it really hit home for me. And so bricks without straw is calling on a man to lead without providing the training necessary to form positive habits. So this comes from the book of Exodus, where the Israelites were called on to build their bricks, the same amount of bricks as they were previously required to as slaves in Egypt, but to build those bricks without being provided the straw. And so calling on a man to lead without providing the necessary training, that's calling for bricks without straw. And I think that this mentality, that there's a lot of guys out there that may have some trepidation and some hesitation for signing up to Q or signing up for their VQ or doing a CSOP or leading in some way because they're afraid of having to make bricks without straw. And so I challenge all those calling people to lead to provide that training necessary. The three exercises that we're going to talk about this week as part of picking up the 6, they're going to be a little ab heavy. So the first one's going to be the Flutter kick. The Flutter kick is a doozy that, when done correctly, can be an incredible ab burner and really get you toned and ready to go for those beach seasons. So a Flutter kick is on your 6 with your head slightly off the ground. Arms are flat. I usually like to kick mine underneath my 6 there to kind of keep them steady. You raise your feet off the ground, and then you start flutter kicking them. You start going up and down with them, and they can be done as single count. So each foot going up is 1. So 1. And then switch your feet 2, switch your feet 3, switch your feet 4, or what I most commonly see it is done in a 4 count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. So that's done, in a 4 count. So every time you're switching your feet, you're counting there, and then so 4 switches will then equal 1. The second exercise for picking up the 6 this week is going to be the Hello Dolly. The Hello Dolly is one that is very similar in an ab exercise, but as the flutter kicks, but instead of fluttering your feet up and down, you're going to spread your legs out wide and back together. So again, on your 6, again, I like to put my hands underneath my 6 to kind of keep myself steady, head slightly off the ground, legs straight, about 6 inches off the ground, and then you're going to, with your feet together, you're going to start with bringing your feet out wide and then bringing them back together. And again, this can be done in single count, 2 count, 4 count. So a single count would be out wide, back together is 1. 4 count being wide, back together wide, back together. So a 1, 2, 3, 1. So when the second time you bring that those ankles together, that counts as 1. And then the I always like to do a routine to finish out here the exercises. So the routine that I'm going to be doing here is the Cindy Crawford. So the Cindy Crawford is an AMRAP, so as many rounds as possible. And what this is it works your core and your arms really well. So as many reps as possible, many rounds as possible. You do 5 pull-ups, 10 merkins, and 15 big boy sit-ups. And so you do that over and over again, and this, whatever the time limit says it is. So this is one I like to do kind of to finish out a workout. If I'm queuing and I've got 7 minutes left, and I'm somewhere close where we can do pull-ups, we're going to do a Cindy Crawford 7-minute AMRAP. And so you're going to do 5 pull-ups, 10 merkins, and 15 big boys. And that was Picking Up the 6, your weekly look at 6 items from the F3 Exicon and Lexicon. Okay, and that'll do it for this week's edition of Beyond the Cot. Once again, thank everybody for listening. Please download, share, rate, subscribe, do all those awesome things on your favorite podcast app. And once again, I don't want to sound desperate here, but anybody that wants to help out or co-host, even if it's just for one episode, want to get together and talk, just let me know. Until next week, this is Davis Bodie, 34 Blindside.